Barnum examined the problem of chronic absenteeism. Their aim was for 60% or more of the students to meet 95% attendance threshold. They were seeing progress as evidenced by their in-school monitoring and with district-issued reports. Their approach went from displaying charts of grade level attendance and award assemblies to more adaptive methods of increasing communication with students and families and equipping teachers with resources and ideas to work with students and families. They also revamped the systems within the school for attendance monitoring and reporting.
Some of the biggest change ideas that we did, we created a script for making parent phone calls. We created some systems of how to give teachers a certain number of names so that it wouldn't be overwhelming, but just to kind of flag some of the red areas of concern, and then try to get teachers involved with calling. And we just tried to make a lot more awareness around what our attendance was for us as a team, for teachers, and for families, what the expectations were.
But also just putting things up in the school of our goal. Not only just some signs just state our goal in English and Spanish near all the doors, near the lunchroom, those kinds of things where parents are often in and out. But then also like a dynamic bulletin board, if you want to say, that changes each month by grade level, that has our 95% goal, and then like a bar graph of each grade level and whether they met it or not. And that's right inside the door where parents are often walking by. And we rewarded the students with excellent or improved attendance. We mostly did that at a 95% level for excellent attendance, but we did also kind of pay special attention to some of those students and families who had had really low rates of attendance last year. We kind of sought them out and said, hey, even just a phone call to the student directly and said, hey, we've noticed you've been here every day this week, or you've only missed one day this month. And also pointed out the improvement, not just the 95%. One thing we started toward the end of the year was kind of getting some student focus groups so that we could kind of pass the buck a little bit to teachers, but also not put a huge load on them as far as, hey, go find your kids who have missed this many days and call them. We found the names for them, and we chose a focus group of, I believe it was 81 to 85% that we asked teachers to call.
We created a tracker that has each student in there, and then it's color coded, where green means they not only did they check in with the teacher, but they engaged in the work during the school day. And then yellow might be they checked in with the teacher, maybe they did some of the work but not all of the work. And then red is they didn't check in with the teacher or do any of the work. So we've kind of been able to track engagement that way, and then reach out to families. We also sent an empathy survey home for families to fill out.
Teachers don't really understand that process very well, and how the school districts expects us to manage it. And the other thing that we did is obviously we didn't want to get solutionitis, but there were a few kids that we really did need to address truancy. And the children that we did look at, and when we talked to their families, their parents, we were a lot more transparent about the consequences of absenteeism, not just truancy, but what it does to their child's education. So I think
have done some of the dirty work as a team, and then draw in even more people moving forward. Again, doing that with actual data. And then the teachers, I think our teachers are bought in. I think that they believe in attendance. I think they want our attendance to be stronger.
Our attendance rate has been between 80 and 87% every day. But that 41% there just means that 41% of kids have attended 95% of the time. even though maybe our overall numbers didn't go up as much as we wanted them to, like the small groups that we did call, and when we were tracking, like looking at the impact of those specific students, there were highlights of success in those smaller pockets.
I think in my role, I'm a literacy interventionist, so I work with struggling readers, which is obviously tied to attendance. And so maybe I see that on a more amplified level because so many of my students don't come to school regularly, and they're in my groups because they're a year more below grade level. So I think that makes me panic and keeps me up at night. And that's kind of like where my solutionitis comes from, and all of ours is that we just want the best for the kids, you know. We want to change it right now to help them and the families. I also think just participating in the DI process just kept attendance at the forefront of our minds. I think it's
also through the process of making these phone calls, we might find some common denominator, you know, within our particular population as to what is happening with attendance. Why are kids missing? You know, do they need a, you know, is there a chronic illness? Is there something going on?
I think just diving into this gave us a more knowledge or even a better understanding of our community and our population and what those challenges are. Again, I think we kind of knew that, but I think this just reinforced some of the things that we knew or maybe were more pervasive than we thought going into